What's he gonna do now? He doesn't know. Hey,
Gonna fit in with the rest of public.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I know we have taken a long absence. Reason being is because Gary no longer has a mohawk and we were freaked out by it. We didn't know what to do.
Wouldn't even put him on camera.
We messed up his contract. We had to renegotiate. It was a big thing. Oh my God.
Can't believe the cut I had to take.
Anyway, I missed Gary so much. I mean, seriously, I haven't seen him in like a long time. So thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
I'm Steve McLean, co-founder of The Little Red Dog, and I've got Gary Newcomb here, one of our best all-time, amazing dog trainer, but also a great guy, which is more important to me. Anyway, I apologize. We have been, I'm not really sure why we haven't been recording. We've just been, doing a lot. I think we all thought when the vaccine hit and things seemed a little better, we were going to be in a better spot.
Go back out in public.
Yeah, we just haven't really been able to get our stuff together. But anyway, welcome back.
We'll get back out to the corner and start screaming at passerby cars soon.
Yeah. But we have a good show for you today. We've got a couple people we're going to interview. Oh, I'm sorry, one person. That's coming up in the next set. Anyway, one thing I wanted to talk about, and it's been coming up lately, and I've been touting it for a long time, just screaming at people to not always rely on, positive reinforcement, meaning food. A lot of press lately about dog behavioralists and why it's different and, some hot reasons why you should pay more attention. So one thing I kind of want to talk about that was mentioned in this Martha Stewart article.
You read Martha Stewart articles?
Well, I don't. You know how on your phone you'll get these like little news briefs?
Yep.
And one of them caught my eye. It was about, why dogs follow us and imprint in the same way that, birds or ducks or any other animal that does, right?
Yep.
So I decided to read it. And I think you kind of had something too, right?
Yeah.
It was along the same
There's
lines.
another article about the same thing.
Was it puppies? I think yours is puppies, right?
Yep.
So kind of walk me through that one really quick, and then we'll kind of...
I got it right here. So what it is they say that they've done numerous studies that have come back now over the past year.
Right.
And it's like 3 or 4 of them that have come back to say that they found out that dogs are hardwired to communicate with us from birth.
Yes.
That it's not something that wolves even have, because they did a cross test on it against wolves that had been raised by humans exclusively, wild wolves or dogs versus dogs who had little to human contact versus wolves who had daily care given to them by humans, and the puppies still outscored them.
Right.
So the study said that basically what it comes down to is that dogs can understand the difference between actions that we do that are deliberate versus accidental.
Yeah.
So
I didn't read that. That's cool.
They did a test on them to see if they did 3 ways of giving food. One where they accidentally dropped it, and one where they offered it and gave it back, and one where they straight gave it to them. And that dogs, if you deliberately took it back from them, the dogs would not go for it. That if you dropped it, it depended on the dog's personality. They'd look at you, is that up for grabs now? And so what they said is that dogs inherently know what our actions are as to why they're, been our partners.
Right.
They come hardwired to work with us, that they can look at our eyes. Another test that they did is they made eye contact with the dog and they did deliberate point to a food item that was hidden.
Okay.
To see if the puppies would make that connection. And even when they took it away, the verbal aspect of it, just the point, the puppies would look at them, look at the finger, and then look where they're pointing.
And that's really cool. And that kind of reinforces what we teach. But kind of indirectly, I always tell people, and I know everyone's tired of hearing it, but genetically, dogs are 98.6% gray, blah, 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 blah. And I always tell people the only difference is a wolf will never give up its independence, but a dog will.
Yes.
And that's always been my example. But this is actually goes a little deeper and says that, like you said, using your vernacular, the dogs are hardwired to want to try to pay attention to a human being.
Yes.
Yeah, which is I think super interesting.
Yeah, no, that they have actually gotten to a point where they're not just, roaming up and what's convenient joining our
Right.
campfire. This is
Right.
actually, when they're born, they come
Looking for a human.
Yes.
Where are you?
I need
come help
direction.
me.
Yeah.
Come help me. I want to go back to the Martha Stewart article in a minute, but it kind of plays into what I was talking about when we first opened about the positive reinforcement. And the conventional way that most trainers work with dogs, it's all about teaching them how to sit and words and food. And, our school of thought is more about your body language,
Yeah.
your energy. Dogs are the only animal on earth besides human beings. When you do point, they will look and move in that direction. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that even if you use humans as an example, we put way more stock into words than words actually have for us.
Oh, absolutely.
They say that we get, 6% of our communication from words, that most of it is body language, tone of voice, volume, that kind of stuff for us as well. But, as humans, we put all the stake into the word part of it when, it's all, am I saying what or am I saying what?
Right.
So we deduct different meanings from using the extracurricular stuff behind the language as well, that I think that a lot of people think that dogs don't have the ability to because they're simple.
Right.
But in reality, yes, that eye contact means more than any word that you're going to say.
That makes sense. And I think a lot of times that's why I get so confused when I'm talking to a human being, because I'm so fixated on the facial movement, the way the words are delivered. It's a problem of mine. I'm not saying no one should listen the way I listen. Because I've learned I'm way too sensitive.
But I think that that's a sign of a smart person. That you're always, what you're doing is you're looking.
Thank you, Gary.
You're looking behind what the actual comment. I always tell my kid, don't worry about what people are telling you as much as you're worried about why people are telling you. You're trying to extract that external context information that's going to give you more out of just the words that are coming out of their mouth.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I've been into some confusing conversations, almost heated conversations, because the words, I understand the words.
Shit, we've had heated conversations.
Yeah.
I sent you a text message one time and you're like, what the hell do you mean by this?
Right.
I was like,
what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's important. And for me, when I'm dealing with a dog, 90% of the time, or I shouldn't say 90% of the time, 90% of the words coming out of my mouth aren't for the dog.
Yeah.
It's really for me to get my energy right.
Yeah.
Trying to get the way I want the dog to see me.
Yeah, it's the structure that I'm going to approach the dog with.
Yeah, and I know I realize a lot of it I should say to myself, but I'm kind of whispering, so whatever. But I love all this information. It's I think the reason why I like it so much is because in my mind, especially a year or two before you joined us, I've always felt like an outsider as far as the way we teach.
Yeah, as far as rescues go and everything, we are definitely outsiders.
Yeah. And I've always felt very confident to stay the course. And we're finally getting scientific data showing that this new way of looking at it is way more important.
Well, I think like anything, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
We've done our own studies and we have gotten the respect of rescues all over California that will send us their troubled dogs and say, we've had this dog for a year. We can't do anything with it. Right. We get the dog, we fix it, we send it out. Proof is in the pudding. Yeah,
I have a perfect story for you based on what we're talking about. And I literally laughed out loud when this happened. But really quickly, Tank and PJ are in a commercial. And it's for Care Credit. For Care Credit credit card. She actually had to say Care Credit credit card.
How redundant.
Yeah. But anyway, Tank and PJ were in the commercial. And Tank had to be around a lot of dogs that day, a lot of people, things he'd never seen, cameras, lights. It was intense. It's intense for a human being, right? I was so proud of him because he did not make one mistake, and we were there for 4 to 5 hours.
Wow.
And not to make one mistake. He never barked. He never got scared. He was just perfect. And because of that, he was a huge hit the whole day.
Yeah.
So near the end of the last shoot, the assistant producer came up and said, hey, Tank is doing so well and he's such a huge hit. We'd love to use him for a different concept that we're thinking about. And I got, I was like giddy, like I'm his
Yeah.
dad all of a sudden, right? I thought that was so cute. So he asked me a couple more questions and blah, blah, blah. And then he asked me, and this is plays into what you just said. He asked me, well, does Tank know any tricks? And I literally laughed. I said, yeah, I taught him not to bite people's heads off. I mean, why? I guess it's not enough that the dog is perfectly well behaved.
Gotta be a circus dog.
Yeah. And I'm like, and when I was laughing and he wasn't, I'm like, well, let me explain something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't give a crap about tricks. Yeah, it doesn't really mean anything to me. And I guess I could take the time to, because I have to admit, I love it when dogs know how to play dead. I love that trick. It's a great trick. Me personally, I don't really have the time to teach.
I don't think people realize the work that it takes to not only teach your dog that, but to maintain that.
Yes.
You
gotta keep it up every day.
Yeah, when you teach a dog a trick, you have to run through that. And, if you have a dog who knows 20 tricks, there's a full week's worth of lessons that you're going to have to give your dog every single day. Okay, we're going to do 2 or 3, 2 or 3, 2 or 3. We have to work on these lessons every day. So through a whole week, now you have every day booked lessons to keep your dog's tricks up to standard.
Yeah, and it really brought home to me, I mean, this guy's heart was in the right place, but it really did bring home to me the way most people see a dog.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's more about my entertainment. It's more about my comfort level. It's never about to them. This is a soul on the plane. Yes, it's a low soul on the totem pole of life. As far
depending who you ask.
Depending on who you ask.
There's a lot of people who put them higher than us.
That's fine, and that's probably maybe true.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where they should belong.
Yeah.
But my point is that it wasn't important enough to him to realize this is a very well-behaved dog, and because they were complaining the whole day. I mean, I was around dogs all day that particular afternoon.
Reacting.
Yeah, and there were people dogs trying to growl and pulling their owners, and it was a shit show.
Yeah.
And everyone expected Tank to be like aggressive because he's big and all this stuff.
A pit bull.
Yeah. But luckily we filmed it in LA, and LA is way more tolerant than Orange County for sure. But I think that at least I feel a lot better about people accepting that it's not about tricks, it's not about sit, stay. Because I always tell people, in the wild, it's not like the alpha goes, okay, I want my whole pack to sit.
Yeah, sit pretty.
Yes. Right. And then you play dead.
Yeah.
Right? Here's a treat, right? So, I mean, to me, it's common sense, but I get the emotional response of a dog.
And it's perspective. He's a entertainment director. His job is to search out entertainment. So, in his perspective, every dog has to be, Lassie. Who will,
Sure.
So, but in reality, I'd take a dog like Tank any day over a dog who will stand up, do circles, a circus dog.
Well, I mean, too, we've talked about this before, that, canines that are used in the military and in the police force, they're not necessarily well-behaved dogs.
No.
They're just well-trained in particular.
No, absolutely. They bark and jump and do all of that stuff. They don't worry about the obedience stuff as much because they don't need that. What they need from them is, you've got to be able to run down a criminal.
Right.
You've got to be able to sniff drugs, or, now that at the Miami airport, they've got the dogs that are sniffing COVID.
Right.
They've got 2 new dogs that sniff COVID at like 97 and 99%.
I did see that. I was pretty impressed by the stats. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So whatever the dog's task is, if your dog's task is that, don't worry about teaching it stuff that's, it's not going to use, or it's just going to be something that you have to work and maintain for our entertainment.
Right.
I guess it goes back to the general sense of, what that we see in adoption is that this is not an intangible item that you take down off the shelf, you let it entertain you for a while, and then you put it back.
Right. You
have to look at this dog as a living soul that has a personality, and, don't expect too much out of them.
Right. I actually like the way you put that, as far as, because really just them being with us, speaking for myself, is comforting for me.
Absolutely.
Right? It's very comforting for me.
Yeah. No, and, even within pet dogs, you have different levels. Like, I have Huntington now. I had Lucas, who was the German Shepherd Border Collie.
Right.
Lucas was a smart dog.
Right.
Undeniably a smart dog. Gave me everything I wanted. He knew what I wanted. He came in the right way every single time. Huntington's a pit bull. He's not that bright.
He's stubborn.
Yes, he's stubborn. He wants to do things his way. So,
right.
You have to, like people, you give them their capacity and not try to overstate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the one thing, we're almost out of time, but the number one thing that I really want our listeners to understand is that it is about getting your dog to understand that, you're in charge, and good leaders are calm and confident. I know we keep saying this, but this data that we're seeing really brings the point home that it's not about getting your dog to sit and stay. To a dog, that's just a trick.
Yep.
It's not discipline. It's not. I mean, you could argue it's discipline because you're teaching it something and you're using the brain. Sure,
yeah, it's a boundary.
Sure. But it's not. To me, it's more about manners with the human world.
Yes.
Right. We want a well-balanced individual. Isn't always working on emotion.
Yep.
They're polite. Right.
Redirects when I request it.
Exactly. So I'm glad to see that more of the public is kind of leaning into dog behavior and relying less on positive
and getting the data to support it.
Yeah. So anyway, good stuff. Please do not go anywhere. Next up, we're going to be interviewing someone. It's a surprise. PJ is going to let us know when we come back. Please go to the Little Red Dog.
Another org we're starting up.
Foster, volunteer, adopt, or donate. We need you. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Hey everybody, I'm Steve with the Little Red Dog. Thanks so much for listening for the Love of Dog podcast. Please subscribe. If you're listening, please rate us and let us know if we're doing horribly or awesome. We need that feedback. Also, when you do subscribe to YouTube, you'll get an alert for our virtual adoption events. We need your input. We need you to watch and support our cause. Thank you so much. We're on a mission from Dog. Take care, everybody. All right, everybody, welcome back. Thanks for showing up. We appreciate it. So we have a special guest today, and PJ's back, and PJ's going to introduce our very special guest. PJ, what you got for us today?
I am so excited for our guests. They are Barbara and Lourdes, and they run the Animal Wellness Center in Orange County in Costa Mesa, and I'm very excited to talk to them about it.
Let's talk to them. Are they there? Are you guys there?
They're there. Yay.
We're here.
All right. Look at that.
Oh,
beautiful,
welcome.
beautiful. Thanks for joining us.
So,
Thank
Barbara
you
and
for
Lourdes,
having us.
we're so happy to have you. We're so excited. Welcome. Why don't you introduce yourselves and then also tell us what Animal Wellness does?
Yes, so welcome to the Animal Wellness Center of OC. My name is Barb West, and we are a all holistic integrative rehabilitation facility for animals.
The big focus on hydrotherapy.
Awesome.
We are the only center in Orange County that has a indoor heated swimming pool. So we swim everything from a healthy young puppy to a dog that's paralyzed to dogs that are recovering from surgery, senior dogs, maybe a dog that's not a good candidate for surgery. So somehow they're all finding us and we're welcoming them.
You know, it's interesting because I was just talking to somebody who works in Costa Mesa, and they didn't know about you. And I'm like, oh, you have to know about them. They're so great. And I think that's the thing. Everybody always wonders, where do I go to get therapy for my dog? So I think it's great that you guys are doing that. We've certainly used them for several dogs and have many more that we're going to use them for because they're great. But, you know, Barb, I thought it was really interesting when I met you a few weeks ago, and I asked you if your background was physical therapy, and you were like, "Oh no!" So, so tell us how you what made you start this business? Because I thought the story was really interesting. So I'd like our listeners to know.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's completely the opposite of animals. I came from the financial services sector and always had a love and passion for animals, but made a career choice to be in the financial services industry. And, I got to a point in life where I wanted to do something that I could make a difference in, and something that I was passionate about and that made my heart sing. And it wasn't in corporate America. So it was, time to transition. And then I just had to figure out part in the animal business. So, for probably about 20 years, I was trying to figure out what it was I was going to end up doing. And then about 7 years ago, Lourdes and I started talking about, hey, what can we create for animals? Because we're so passionate about it. And the rest is history.
Very interesting. So Lourdes, did you have a background in animal therapy also, or any kind of physical therapy?
No, so kind of a similar story, as a young girl, as every little girl, I wanted to be a veterinarian, but didn't follow that passion. And I've always had, a love for animals. And about, 7 years ago, same story as Barb, I wanted to find something that, fulfilled a purpose. And I loved animals, and I had a dog, Stella, who really inspired my vision for the Animal Wellness Center. So Stella had TPLO surgery, and then it ended up that she had bone cancer in that same leg. And Stella was a big mastiff, a dog de Bordeaux. So she loved to swim, and we went hikes. And after the surgery and recovering the bone cancer, I couldn't take her on walks anymore because she was never able to put weight on that leg again. So I thought, well, we'll swim, because she loves to swim and it's weightless, and she enjoys it.
Right.
So I thought, I'm sure that there's some kind of rehab facility in Orange County. And I kept looking, and I kept looking, and I kept looking. And I ended up finding a place in LA, and we drove out there for a couple hours. And I'm like, well, I can't keep doing this drive for 2 hours out in LA. And it had a big pool, and it was a big rehab facility. And that's kind of what led us to opening up the Animal Wellness Center. So it was a 6.5-year project, trying to find a building, working with the city. And here we are. We're a year into it.
That's awesome. I mean, that is great. I love that. I love that you both want to do something different. I too wanted to be a veterinarian until I took animal biology, and then I was like, I'm out.
Well, one thing that I wanted to note, especially for our listeners, it's been my experience that whenever a facility offers hydrotherapy at all, and I go visit, it's a very rinky-dink little area. It has like one little I don't know what you call it, but it's just it's
almost like a bath thing.
Yeah, and the dogs are just kind of walking.
Theirs is way different.
Yeah, no, I know. I've been there. And what was the dog that we sent over there? The first dog, the big.
I think it was Leo.
Yeah. So when I went with Leo the last time, not his last time, but the one time I went to your facility, the one thing I was so impressed with is the giant pool. Yes, you have not just one of these pieces of equipment I'm talking about. You had at least 2 or 3. You guys are full throttle. It's very, very impressive. And I do want to mention that anyone out there that has any problem with an elderly dog, maybe there's nothing wrong with it. This arthritis, right? This is the perfect way to get your dog out and exercise and really get you working your dog again. Until you go, I can't really give you the words to make it seem. It's very impressive. It really is.
It is impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
We definitely put our heart into it, and it was a project that we worked on for 6-7 years. Easy, and it wasn't overnight. I always say, if somebody would have laid out the roadmap for us and said, here's everything you're going to have to accomplish, every obstacle that you're going to face, this is how long it's going to take you.
Right.
Personally, I would have looked at the paper and I would have gone like, oh my God, I've never
Screw it. I'm not going to do it. No, it shows.
Yeah.
It shows. It's very, very impressive. It's everyone there is not just professional, but sweet. And that's hard to do. It's hard to be professional and sweet at the same time. And you have all this great equipment. You guys, I can tell that you guys care. It's all about the dog. And to be honest with you, when I showed up, I really thought, I don't want to be here. I'd rather go eat dinner, have an early dinner or whatever. But it was so great to see it. It's awesome.
Don't feel bad.
Good.
Steve feels that way about everything at the beginning. And then he's always like, oh my God, it's so great. So yeah, don't take it personally. So, Lourdes, you kind of touched on it, excuse me, in your introduction, but Can you maybe talk a little bit more about the kinds of therapy? I mean, obviously the hydrotherapy, but what else do you do there?
Yeah, so we do, like Barb mentioned earlier, we have a holistic approach. So we do, we do acupuncture, chiropractic, and we do aquapractic, which basically is adjustments in our warm, heated swimming pool. And we're the only ones anywhere that do this type of service, and that's done by Dr. Block. We recently introduced ozone therapy. We have laser therapy. We have a physical therapist, which put together like a home exercise program for you, and in conjunction do maybe some hydrotherapy here. And then, like I always like to say, the star of the show is the swimming pool, because that's really what's unique to the Animal Wellness Center of OC. So it's great because we can use the pool for dogs that are paralyzed and don't have any weight bearing on the hind legs or front legs. So the pool is great for that. And I've seen where we've been swimming a dog for 6 months plus that came to us and they're not moving their back legs. And then after, coming twice a week and getting acupuncture and swimming, I mean, it's really great to see how they're now starting to move their legs in the water, and they're starting to put a little bit of weight on the hind legs. Are they ever going to walk again like a normal dog? Probably not. But the fact that you see these little improvements,
that's huge.
Really just kind of makes your heart sing. And we get people that come in and, they have acupuncture and they're like, oh my gosh, my dog was barely walking, and they've had a couple of treatments, and they come back and they tell us, after 1 or 2 treatments. And again, every dog is different, and we'll have different results, but we love hearing the stories when our customers come back to us and tell us how well that their the pets are doing. So it's inspiring, and it warms our heart, and it makes us emotional, and it makes us want to do it more.
Sure, I can see that.
Definitely, I can definitely see that. So I was really impressed as well, because again, Steve said the first dog we sent to you all was Leo, and Leo doesn't always like every human. He's more bark than bite, but he growls and everything. So I was like, I don't know, are they going to take him? But you guys got him in there and had no problem with him. I mean, do you want to talk a little bit about that, Barb, for us?
Yeah, I remember when he first came in, and we were really astounded by the x-rays and how the condition and how they repaired that break in the leg. It was like in 5 different places.
Yeah, it was intense.
And Dr. Amanda Aldridge was remarking on, wow, that's just incredible that he was walking. So whoever did the surgery did a fantastic job. And then I remember when Dr. Aldridge was doing the exam, Leo did really well until she brought the stethoscope out. And at that point, that's actually when he growled. And she said, you know what, we'll stop there, because we don't, he's probably had a lot going on with, his injuries and as many times he had seen a doctor and whatnot. And so, it's just gave him a break. And then I think we got him in the water on that first day, and he's a delight. He's so wonderful. And his pet parents are Cindy.
Awesome.
Yeah, they were really, really awesome.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yep, Cindy and is it John?
John, yep, that's right.
And
very good.
Yeah, they do so well with him. And I remember in the water, him just looking up at them like, you're not leaving, are you? You could tell they're really, really bonded.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. I'm so glad they adopted him.
Oh, me too. That was great. I mean, he really did love them. And it was so funny because they're older, and he's this giant dog. He's this giant 110-pound lab, which was why it made the hydrotherapy so important, because he can't walk a lot. He is older, he is big, and, he needed something to burn his energy, but also keep weight off, because that was one of the things. He's had these surgeries and he can walk, which is great. But if he gains weight, that's going to put more pressure on him and his leg, and we didn't want that. So I thought this was a great thing for him, and it was really good for us to dip our paw into it with Leo, because
look at you making a joke.
Look at me making a joke. No, because I didn't know. I mean, you just never know. And
sure.
But I can tell you had a recommendation that you couldn't have been a higher recommendation, because, as you know, Christine and I are friends. Christine, who's Malibu's mama, you guys have met her on our podcast, and really good friend to the little red dog, and she gets Moo in there, and it was like it was so cute to watch her in the
little cap.
her little
Yeah,
bathing
so
cap,
cute.
so their ears were protected, and just very thoughtful things I wouldn't have even thought about. So I thought it was really impressive, and again, she told me you guys were great, and I'm like, okay, we're going there. So that was awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, of course. So for people who might be interested, because we have a lot of listeners who have dogs, and everybody has an injury or an older dog. So can you kind of tell about the process first? Like, do they have to go to a vet first to be diagnosed, or can they just come to you, or how does that work?
Yeah. So really, we take dogs, cats. We had a bunny rabbit in here yesterday, so it's not just canines. It's not
Awesome.
just dogs. What you would do is, you would come, give us a call. We'd get some information about your pet and what basically what the issues are, what you want to accomplish. And, we'll call your, wherever the primary veterinarian or any specialty vet that they've been to. We'll get medical records. They'll come in for an evaluation with one of our holistic veterinarians. And then together with the pet parent, we'll come up with a plan for, rehabilitation. Sometimes it's, like Lourdes might have alluded to, sometimes it's just for weight loss or activity or learning how to swim or so it's not necessarily always for, an injury or disease or something. It could also just be a healthy dog just trying to learn how to swim, or maybe wants nutritional counseling or that sort of thing.
All of our dogs are evaluated by one of our veterinarians. And then once, the evaluation process is completed, then again, if there's some kind of injury or so, then, a treatment plan is put forth together, depending, it could be, several modalities, hydrotherapy, laser, and all the other things that Barb mentioned.
Has this technology moved forward enough where insurance providers will cover some of the cost, or is it strictly just out of the owner's pocket?
No, they do. They
Nice.
are actually covering quite a bit of the cost.
Nice.
Sometimes they don't always cover the evaluation, but for the most part, they've covered, chiropractic, hydrotherapy, acupuncture, laser. I mean,
Wow,
pretty
that's
much all the
awesome.
modalities that we've offered so far. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And, it always depends on the policy holder, right?
Sure.
If they have any, if they're the standard care, or some of them they can get, additional therapies covered.
That's cool. I think we interrupted you, Barb, earlier. Were you going to say something else?
Oh, I was just going to say, ideally, if people check us out online, info@animalwellnessoc.com, they can get a sense of who we are, what we do. You can also subscribe and send us an email from there if you're interested in any type of services. And then you can, of course, give us a call as well.
And follow our Instagram. We have lots of great videos of dogs swimming in our pool and getting therapies.
Awesome. And we will have, we will put your phone number, your Instagram, and your URL up here, so people can check you out. I do really think that you should, if you again considering it. To be honest, I mean, it's great to know that the insurance companies are covering some of it, but honestly, they are providing a really great service, and it is not like a crazy expensive. At least I don't think it is, and we see crazy expensive all the time. We use vets, every single day, but.
Right.
But it is a really amazing value for what they do. And they're helping dogs. We have one that I don't know, I think she did go, Libby came. So Libby came to us, we rescued her out of their shelter. She was a great dog, and she had distemper. She came down with distemper. And we thought we were going to lose her a couple times. And, it was really sad because we had adopted her when she was great. And then the pet parents... then she had started having these neurological issues and couldn't walk and anything. Anyway, they hung through her, did not complain once, and they're so excited to be working with you to get Libby going. And I know you said, I think we're doing underwater treadmill with her, but it's just amazing what they do. So again, you really do need to check them out. I was going to ask you if you only do dogs, but you said you do cats and bunnies. I'm interested, do you put the cats in the pool?
We haven't had that yet. we've been asked that a lot. I'm sure at some point we'll have a swimming cat.
Swimming
We hope
cat.
so. That is definitely something to be putting on Instagram.
Sounds like a motorcycle group. Swimming cats.
So we're wrapping up in a couple minutes or in a minute or so. I just wanted to ask you. I mean, you probably have a bunch of success stories. I wonder if there's one that you want to share with us about anything that like you started with a dog that maybe. I mean, you mentioned a couple of them, but is there any like one dog or one animal that sticks out of your mind that you had a great success story with?
I mean, I'll go back to one of our paralyzed dogs in the pool. There's, I mean, two of them, and they were both rescue. One, is Speedy is his name, and then there's Speedy Petey, which are two different dogs, and both of them, were hit by a car. They were rescued from Mexico, and both dogs, when they came here, there was no movement in the back legs. In fact, we had, a life vest on them, a noodle underneath their hips supporting them so that their bottoms wouldn't sink. And then probably after several months, I'm like, let's try to take off the life vest and see if we can start to get some, we bicycle motion their legs in the water so that they can hopefully regain some muscle memory. So I would say that's probably one of our biggest success stories. That's is, cool.
Wow.
Seeing a dog that had no movement in the legs to really moving their legs in the water. Speedy Petey was just here the other day, and I was like amazed because he hadn't been here for a couple of weeks because his mom was out of town. And I was like, wow, he's really moving his legs, and he has been, and it gets better and better every time. So, that's just one of several, but that's one that stands out in my head the most, just because they swim in the pool. So
Sure.
Awesome.
Sure.
What about you, Barb? Do you have one that you think about a lot?
Yeah, I think this one that we've been treating not too long yet. His name is Mocha with a K, M-O-K-A. And he's been coming to get acupuncture. He started out twice a week, and now we've scaled back to once a week. And we just got him in the pool. He just started, this was his second time in the pool, but he's 15 and a half years old. Oh, wow. And he's a little shelty. So he's a senior guy. And he actually took 10 steps out of the treatment room after acupuncture the other day. And his mom and dad carrying him around, and he's actually starting to move again.
Oh, that's
and this
awesome.
Poor little dog, the only thing that works well, I think, for him is he doesn't have hip problems, but he's got every other joint that's painful.
Poor guy.
So the acupuncture really helps him. And I think, getting in the pool and getting some of the massage therapy and some of the stretching will help him build, a little strength as time goes on.
Very cool.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And there's one more. There's Champ, our little Boston Terrier puppy. He started coming to us when he was 8 weeks old, and he was born with, I'm not sure if he's actually been diagnosed with cerebellar hypoplasia, but it's a very similar condition where there's an imbalance of the motor skills.
Sure.
So he religiously comes in and swims twice a week, gets acupuncture. They do some PT with him at home. And just the other day, and now he's 5 months old. And so we see him now, he's standing, and his mom just showed us a video of him the other day where he actually he was on the grass, and they were at the park, and he actually got up on his own, and he took probably like 5 or 6 steps without falling, and then, fell over. But the fact that he could do that and hasn't been able to do that. And in the water, he's amazing because he uses all of his legs. He swims like a regular dog. He swims without a life vest where, when we first put him in the water, he would go like, kind of like this. And now we don't even really need to support him anymore.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we hope that we can get him on his feet at some point. So,
and that's the big thing. Cause as whether you're a parent or a pet parent, you don't want to see your baby suffer, and to even get 5 steps is amazing when you're not getting that and you're seeing that, and good for them for keeping up with that. That's amazing. So, is there we're about to wrap up. Is there anything that you want to leave our listeners with? Anything at all from either one of you?
Like you mentioned earlier, I mean, we talk about our facility, and once people come here and see it, they're like, wow, this really is no joke. So we welcome people to come in, and if they just want to come check us out, get a free tour, check out our pool. We we'll offer free intro swims if they're a healthy animal, dog. Follow us on Instagram, our Facebook page. We have lots of cute videos of dogs swimming in the pool and success stories. So
That's awesome. I definitely check them out. Again, we're going to put that information up here so you guys can get it and hook up with them. Awesome ladies, women-owned business. Love that. Love that. And they're doing some really amazing work for pets and their pet parents. So please check them out. Thank you so much, Lourdes and
Barb. You guys are terrific.
Yes, you've been great. I've been so excited to get you on here. Thank you. I know it's been a long day, so thank you for getting on. We really appreciate it. And you guys take care.
Thanks,
all right.
Thanks. You too.
Bye, guys. Hope to see you soon.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to please support us by going to thelittlereddog.org. We need you to adopt, foster, volunteer, donate. Please, please, please. We cannot do this without you. This is Steve and PJ. We'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.
And check out OC Animal Wellness.